we take on the next story. You know, in the light of a resurgent insurgency by the Boko Haram terrorist group, Governor Babagana Umara Zulum has called for a vigorous offensive in the Lake Chad Basin to dislodge the murderous gang. According to the governor, the Lake Chad Basin and its environs, known as the Tumbus, are critical safe havens where the murderous gangs regroup and sustain their operation. And so with a concerted effort, we can call the bluff of the gang, don't you think?
Yes, I believe so. I've always believed that we have to commend our security forces. They are making a lot of sacrifices to protect us and fight terrorism in our country. But they can do more.
Okay.
I believe that, you know, when BK mentioned the other time, it's something that I've always advocated. When we want to fight these people, we have to do it holistically. When you attack people, degrade them, and leave them, they will surely come back. Mm-hmm. So it is important for us that when we have identified where we are, they are, we must put together enough security forces and ammunitions, firepower to dominate them, and then operate to defeat them and dominate that area. Mm. Because the problem now is that we know these people will come when they see that we are giving them enough problems. They will go back to those safe havens and stay for a while, regroup, and come back. If we continue to do this back and forth thing, we are going to fight this thing forever. Mm. We cannot afford that. So what we should do is that how do we degrade them and defeat them once and for all? And that is to take the battle to them overwhelmingly, so that we'll be able to, because we know where they are. They are within that Lake Chad region. Deploy gadgetry. To be able to use technology and superior firepower to be able to take it, because from that place, they have nowhere to go. Especially those at the Lake Chad region. The only place they can go is to the mountains. And we can make things so difficult for them that it will take a long of time for them to come. That's what I think I was trying to say, that let us once and for all take the battle to these people and make it difficult for them to regroup and come back.
Because we must tell the viewer that a battle against insurgency is not a dash. It's a marathon. If you remember the U.S., when it got struck on 9/11, it took 10 long years before they got the old enemy, if you understand what I mean. So Governor Zulum is telling us what we should know and what the military already knows, if you understand me.
Yeah. We have never embarked on a serious military campaign in the Lake Chad region.
Yes.
The islands of Lake Chad, they call them Tumbus.
Tumbus, yeah.
Tumbus. That's the name for island. And there's so many of those islands. This is where these boys are. They've deliberately positioned themselves there because of access to weapons on the black market. Yes. No matter how the military tries, they will do whatever it takes to hold that ground. And it is the Abanawi faction, not the Shekau faction that is in that area. Shekau's faction, they are present in Sambisa, the mountains, these Mandara mountains, they are there. But the Albanawi faction, which is stronger than the Shekau faction, the islands of Lake Chad is their own base. It's not as if they are not anywhere else, but that is like their main area. And I suspect that their leaders, they have a concentration of their leaders in that place because they defend it with everything that they've got. So the governor said something, which I had said in the past, that there is a need for an all-out war on that area. And the good thing is, this is a small area. You know, our border with Chad is a very small area. Yeah. So the islands of Lake Chad is a very small area that we can actually block them off, that there will be no room for escape. They can't go into Chad. If they go into Chad, they are going to be killed, because those ones too, they do not show mercy to them.
I remember their first former president, the one who died also.
They had to, when they killed more than 90 of his soldiers.
Yes.
And they had to fight back. Even came into Nigeria, you know, they dealt a severe blow on them. But they've had time to recover. You must give it to these terrorists that they are very determined. Despite all their weapons that were destroyed in that military campaign by Chad, they found a way to recover, and they are now causing us to suffer some setbacks now. They've raided some military bases in the last few months, between October and March. We suffered a lot of setbacks in their hands, which means that they've restocked weapons. They've recruited more people, because they're able to recruit from Niger Republic, even some Chadians. Boko Haram members had been arrested in the past and they could not speak a word of Nigerian language. So the governor also said that they have foreign backing. The foreign backing is from ISIS. Because that faction, the Banawi faction, is fully committed to ISIS. Shekau never agreed with ISIS because ISIS imposed Banawi on him and he didn't forgive them. Yes.
That's what led to the altercation.
That was what he said. He now decided to break away. He was with them originally, but they didn't like the fact that he was killing his fighters recklessly. You know, Shekau had mental problem. So they then made a small boy, then I think around 27 years, they made him the leader. Once Shekau had that, he withdrew his loyalty to ISIS and he started doing his thing alone. Later, ISIS ordered Al-Banawi, after they released him from detention, to go and reunite the two factions. It was in the process of doing that he went frontally to confront Shekau in his hideout inside Sambisa, and Shekau was injured in the process, and he saw that he could not make it. He then used the suicide vest to take his own life. But Al-Banawi too was injured. He eventually succumbed to his wounds. But their men are still fighting one another. Every time they confront one another, it usually leads to serious bloodshed. They are still fighting one another. Shekau's faction has a much wider area of influence than the Al-Banawi faction. Their own strength is largely in the islands of Lake Chad. But the truth is, their fighters are better trained, they have equipment, and they have courage. They can confront the military at any time. They are also present in a place that they call this place, something triangle. Maybe I'll hear it later. I'll remember later.
Still in that axis?
Yes. Around Damboa. Timbuktu triangle. Very good. So they have their men in that place. They control that area. We've not been able to dislodge them even from Timbuktu triangle.
Wow.
Because my suspicion is that they also have some of their top men in that area, and they fight till death just to keep that area. So I believe that the same attitude we should extend to the bandits. If we say, look, we want to win this war, we must tell ourselves that, look, it's an all-out war. We are at war. Let's not deceive ourselves. And we declare war on these people and say, look, for the next 3 months, it's fight to finish. Honestly, the day we do that, and everyone knows that, okay, this battle, this is where we are going, there's no way these boys will survive. It's just not possible.
Mayor, the tragedy of war is that it uses man's best to do man's worst. If you understand
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So Governor Zulum is saying, use everything in your arsenal. As I said a while back, including gadgetry, you know.
Yes, yes, you know, because part of the problems that we have is that for a long time...
a viewer talked about intelligence. It's also
yes, that's a major thing that we
do you know that Boko Haram is now using drones fitted with weapons to kill our soldiers?
Yes. That's
the latest now. The drones fitted with weapons. They are now using it to kill our soldiers. And vehicle-borne IEDs. This is what I discovered when I went to Maiduguri. So when they ram a vehicle-borne IEDs into the gate of a military base,
yes,
there's nothing. Already you are going to suffer so many casualties, and then their own men will move in.
You know why they are doing that now?
All right, sorry, we have company. Awoni is reaching us from Shagamu. Awoni, I greet you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ekushe.
Oh, Eshe.
Yeah. I thank God for the opportunity to speak to you guys this afternoon. I just want to ask a question, please. And I wish a very good answer could be provided. What is the punishment for banditry, Boko Haram, and kidnapping in Nigeria? I'm asking this in the background of the fact that when these guys are arrested, what is being done to them? The issue of these three issues or these three problems have become so nagging in Nigeria to the extent that I want to believe that there should be a death penalty for all these very, very terrible offenses.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, gentlemen, in my state, Akwa Ibom, kidnapping has been criminalized to the point of making it a capital offense.
No, in most states. Ditto for terrorism. But you see, the problem that we have is that the military believes that sometimes it is better for you to get people from the other side. So which I don't agree with. Because a lot of these people, when they are captured, they will claim they've been reformed, that they are going to reform them and then integrate them into part of the society.
And it's
not working. You cannot de-radicalize anybody. After some time, these people will be tempted to go back. It has always been like that.
Yes.
If you identify an enemy, cut the head of the snake. When you try to...
I think also the problem is that even the society is reluctant to...
give information.
To embrace them.
Okay.
The Sheikh Borno was begging the other day. But you have to also recognize...
How can you embrace somebody people that have killed?
Yes, that is difficult. I don't blame those people. I don't blame them. As much as the Governor Zulum and others are trying to say, okay, let us... The people are not prepared to embrace them. And they even stigmatize them. Once they do this, after a while, the person feels like going back to the forest because he believes that it will be better treated there.
Yeah.
Even some women that were rescued, their own families started treating them as wives of murderers, this and that. And invariably, they felt bad. They went back into the forest to reunite with their husbands.
All right, folks.